Perfect. Okay, so now wow, this is going very well because I can see the end in sight. We'll be on shore momentarily, right? I want to tell you 3 stories. I just want to tell you 3 patient stories. Yeah, I can do this. The first one is about chiropractic. Now, I want everybody in this room, most people in this room either are chiropractors or you're chiropractic patients, but I want everybody in this room to answer this question in your own mind. Have you, at this point in your life, had your transitional experience, that's my term, which means that you know in your heart of hearts that chiropractic is something real and infinite, and your life would be colossally inferior. The quality of your life would be much, much worse than if you had never discovered chiropractic. So that's what I define as your transitional experience. BJ said, you know, you know. I was doing a lecture for Ryan Reeder. He has one of the biggest practices in England, right by Windsor Castle, right? And so anyway, it was a group of it was a technique seminar, right? And it was a group of chiropractic students, you know. And so the schools in Europe are really, really bad. There is only one school in Europe that I would refer people to, and what is that school? Yeah, you just left there. That's the best school in Europe. I've lectured there a couple times. For that reason, it's really a challenge to become a chiropractor in Europe and to be a success, to survive. Because you graduate from school, you have no idea what chiropractic is. You have no idea what special skill you are supposed to have somehow not just mastered, but gotten entry-level proficiency in order to have a service that you can provide to the general public. You have no clue. So it's very, very challenging for them. So this seminar was really valuable. So anyway, I'm lecturing to a group of students and also young doctors on technique right outside Windsor Castle. And I said to them exactly what I just said to you. I want everyone to think about, have you ever had your transitional experience where you have no doubt that chiropractic is something sublime and infinite? And this one girl raises her hand and she goes, in a very mousy, quiet voice, she goes, well, doctor, what if the experience you had was negative? And I'm going, uh-oh, it's the heckler about to torpedo my presentation here. So I go very innocently, why, what do you mean? And she proceeded to tell me the story that when she was in chiropractic school, you know, many of us have similar stories about what happened in technique class or learning to twist necks and learning to adjust. You know, you suck at first, but this guy, this ape, you know, he grabbed her neck and he just rotated it past the limits, right? And the vertebral artery became, what's that word? Yeah, exactly, dissection of the vertebral artery, and it was an emergency, right? And so she was rather cautious about getting adjustments after that. She didn't die, she survived, she continued chiropractic school. Now she's been in practice for 4 years, right? And so she asked me that question. That was my first question. When did this happen? This happened 4 years ago in chiropractic school. Now I'm going, this light bulb goes on in my mind. I'm going, wow, This is every instructor's dream right here. Working with live ammunition. Bring it on. So I said, wait a minute. Tell me. So obviously that was a negative transitional experience. You know, like she's saying before that she had the idea that chiropractic was something, you know, salubrious, beneficial, and had some kind of value for the human race, and now she's not quite so sure, right? So that's what she's really telling me. So I said, well, when was your last adjustment? And she said, that was my last adjustment. So I said to her, what? What? Almost. I said to her, would you like me to check you? That's what I really said. Would you like me to check you? The answer came back a very timid, tenuous yes. So she comes up, sits in the chair. I'm checking out her neck, right? This girl who had a dissecting vertebral artery from her last adjustment, right? So I'm checking out. It was like adjusting, it was like palpating a telephone pole, right? There was not much motion there. But I felt, what did Clarence say? You know, he said when it's like a telephone pole, you start with the, no, he didn't say that. He said you start with the lowest one. Clarence always said you finish with the atlas. So, I mean, it was so bad. So that's what I was thinking. First I thought of Clarence saying that, and then I thought of Dee Dee saying this: vehemently and forcibly, if necessary, awaken your patient from his dream of suffering. So, you know, by this is just like a couple years ago. You know, I've seen a lot of people over the last several years, okay? And so I have no doubts. I have no doubts. So I was thinking this. This is what I was thinking. I'm not going to kill her. I know what I'm doing. I just palpated those vertebrae. I know what position they are in, and I know what position they should be in. So did I get out the activator? Did I give her some tentative clicky? No. I set up on her, and for 1 second, I envisioned T1 on the other side of the room. You understand? The explosion. You could hear a pin drop in the room. Everybody thought I killed her. She just sat there, and I just kept my hands on her shoulders, and she was whimpering. She was crying, just quietly crying, not from pain, but just from surprise, relief, whatever. I said, well, that was a really good first adjustment, which it really was. It was a great first adjustment. And I said, well, why haven't you had any adjustments for the last 4 years after this disaster? Why hasn't anybody adjusted you for the last 4 years? Because no one would touch me. That was what she said. No one would touch me. Risky? No. If you have the experience, if you have the intention, if you know what you're doing, visualization, you won't hurt them. So it's a lack of process. I call that a lack of process. I'm not going to go through all this. This is a slide from my full-day technique seminar. We compare the mastery of chiropractic adjusting technique similar to the mastery of Itzhak Perlman. There's electric guitar virtuosity. There's Tiger Woods. We compare that. It's a daily discipline, fine motor skills. First you get entry-level proficiency. None of these people considers themselves a master. Their mastery is this elusive goal. You always strive toward it. But you have to start somewhere. You have to start at the beginning. Here's my second story. Case study 2. Now, Dr. Bergman and I have this great idea of, we do consultations, right? He does them much better than I do. He charges properly for them. But you know, I really think this, Doc, the more I think about this, just think of what we have, the stories that we have heard people tell. If we could, if there was some kind of conduit and some kind of website, people would be, they would be breathless to hear some of the things that medical doctors tell people, because they don't come to us first. We're the last resort, you know. So people have had all these devastating medical stories, then they come to us to cure them when they're at death's door, right? So this girl calls me one day from Florida. Her name is, it began with a V. Let's just call her V, right? Now V, she discovered one day over by the mandible these lumps over here. So she went in and had them looked at, and they biopsied them, and they told her that they were malignant and that she should do the usual chemotherapy and radiation for them, which she did, and the follow-up as well. And 6 months later, now 3 tumors were 6 tumors, right? So I mean, this is very typical. So she read my chapter. I have a chapter called To the Cancer Patient. It's kind of like a summary of a 20-year study of holistic approaches to cancer. Because as many of you know, most people who die from cancer, they don't die of cancer, they die of cancer treatment. Am I right? So either you know that or you don't. Most people don't learn that till too late. Anyway, she read my chapter To the Cancer Patient, and because she had just gone in that day to the oncologist and said, well, you now have 6 tumors where there were first 3. What did he want to do you think? What did he want to do? Same thing, to do it again, you know. So now she's going to have 12, whatever. That was his recommendation. So she does the 60-day program. Here's the chapter. It's called To the Cancer Patient. It's at the Doctor Within. Even though they said they were going to do these the same procedure again, the chemotherapy and radiation, they didn't give her a very happy prospect. They said that it would probably develop into metastatic and spread to the brain, and she would probably have a very painful rest of her existence, but that wouldn't be very long anyway. So faced with a marketing promotion like that, she decided to try the last resort, the Doctor Within, right? In my chapter To the Cancer Patient, I document how most of the time doing nothing statistically gives you a better chance at surviving any cancer. If you do a detox and a lifestyle correction and mental outlook transformation, however that will occur, then your chances really improve a lot more. It's a long story, right? Cancer is a distinct disease entity triggered by an original long-term inner imbalance. Cancer is a general condition that localizes, not a local condition which generalizes. So I'd like to take a minute here to clarify this discussion about, is cancer a general condition or a local condition? What's the difference? The billion-dollar cancer industry wants us to believe that cancer is this nightmare monster that is lurking out there that might victimize any of us, and accidentally we might catch it somehow through no fault of our own. And it takes up residence, it chooses a part of our body, and then we have cancer. And then the real fear for us at that point is that cancer would metastasize, a local condition which generalizes. So it's no coincidence that that is the model that best promotes the sale of chemotherapy and radiation. So they pretend that the tumor has cancer that needs to be eliminated so that the body can be healthy again. Unfortunately, that's not the way nature works. When we look at the work of real scientists like Otto Warburg and Ralph Moss, PhD, author of The Cancer Industry, and we learn that it's just the opposite. This is opportunities for cancer to begin. In the immune suppressed body, as the cell replicates, it creates imperfect versions of itself. And that is the definition of a tumor. This only happens when the whole body is immune suppressed. So Ralph Moss puts it this way: the whole body has cancer. So this is why the real cause of cancer is a chronically depressed immune system that creates a general condition which localizes into a tumor. If you want to see a blank look on the face of your oncologist, repeat that sentence to him. You know, doctor, cancer is a general condition that localizes, not a local condition that generalizes. They won't know what you mean, and that's why cancer has remained the number 3 cause of death in increasing numbers in the last 30 years. Is chiropractic a cure-all? Of course not. We talk about the evidence, the modern evidence, how chiropractic promotes the immune system. This patient began the 60-day program, immediately resonated with it. It's on my website. It's common sense. Stop eating trash. Eat what you know you should. There's a diet there. There's 7 supplements. No more toxic input. The idea is we're going to clear the tract and clear the blood. So oxygen and nutrients go through the blood to every organ and tissue, every cell of the body. If you can remove the waste and get the oxygen and nutrients flowing again, you stand a chance of returning to normal, right? This patient resonated within the first week. She knew she was on the right track. The oncologist, her phone's ringing off the hook, they're freaking out. Finally, they stopped calling her after the first month. No more drugs, no more bad food. She got healthier and healthier. Optimum cell nutrition, chelating, one of the supplements is oral chelation for heavy metals and plaque. Within 3 months, there was no sign of any tumor. She's healthier now than she's ever been before. And this is not rocket science. I'm not a genius, along with adjustments too as well. But we just affirmed the life force within her and let nature take its course. That's all we're doing, is getting out of our own way. Focusing on the spiritual, mental, and physical healing powers of the body. That's what really cures people. That is a definition of the immune system. There is no abnormal condition which will not respond to a program like this. The body will not permit a pathological condition to coexist within a healthy body. Healthy people don't get sick. Now, V's advantage was that she was optimistic from the outset. This was really her last hope, but she knew that it would work, and she kept affirming to herself all the time that it would work. Here's my third and final story. We're in the home stretch here. John H. Do you have a feedback and testimonial section on your website of stories of recoveries? Yeah. Okay. So mine is over the years, it's like hundreds of stories, various recoveries, right? But here's a recent one that I got. Dear Dr. Tim, your system works wonders. So far, my urinary problems are gone. My sexual function and drive are increasing. I am 70. I feel better than I ever have. I've always been pretty healthy. The supplements and the diet just plain work. Just 2 weeks and I see a vast improvement, and I know it is kicking cancer's ass. I cannot believe I have stage 4 prostate cancer and have no symptoms at all. I am positive that by the time 60 days passes, I will be healed from this disease. When the doctor told me I would not live long, I just laughed because they are locked into their little box and they cannot think outside of it. No wonder so many people die of this disease, and your program has changed my eating habits for life. I blend a drink of orange juice, 3 tablespoons of collagen, I use that to take the supplements you supply. This has made an unbelievable difference in reversing the disease along with a positive attitude. I cannot believe the medical community is ignoring the fact that our food is killing us and that good food can reverse this trend and rebuild our immune system. Thank you for developing this program. If everybody knew this, hospitals would be out of business. So that's John H. I am certainly not claiming that doing this 60-day program is the guaranteed cure for stage 4 carcinoma of the prostate. I'm not claiming that. But on the other hand, where's the evidence to claim that that cannot happen? Organized medicine looks at the human body, the physiology of the human body, in this tunnel vision. We're only interested in opinions and theories that can promote the sale of drugs and services. Anything else, it's not of interest to us. So for that reason, medical science has chosen to ignore the majority of the actual day-to-day evolutionary physiology of the human body. Most of what goes on in the human body, we have no idea. We have no idea. The holistic model, of which chiropractic is a part, detoxification is a part of the holistic model. It's just to clear the body of interference, clear the body of poisons and toxins, add best nutrition possible, get exercise, positive mental attitude, and hydration. No one can say that as long as you are still alive, as long as you still draw breath, no one can say that you cannot heal if you employ all these methods. Thank you very much for paying attention this morning. Thank you.